Yo, hey horror fiends. Alright, so the movie I'm about to do a review of is a mid-80s slasher film that is, to me, considered to be one of the better, or best, clones to the film Halloween. And through my description I'm about to give you, you'll see how I link it to being a clone to Halloween. The movie in question is Sorority House Massacre. Alright? Ever since I checked out this movie as a little teenager at from the VHS section from Blockbuster Video back in the early 90s, I fell in love with this film. And, you know, it's not one out there that I can actually recommend to a bunch of people, but if you're a slasher film purist, like I am, you may enjoy it, you know, and it does have its fan base, and I'm one of them. But it also does have its haters as well. It's put out by the company that made, produced, and released the Slumber Party Massacre series. So this film shows a lot of comparisons to that series. And even there is the girls in this film are watching a horror movie on television, and what movie would they be watching? Slumber Party Massacre. Anyway, but the film concerns the main character, Beth, who had just joined and moved into the sorority house during the time when a bunch of the students are going on vacation, and she's stuck there with some of the girls who are staying over. And pretty much that she's kind of a troubled girl in the fact that she suffered a trauma from her past, and she has no memory of it whatsoever. It's just completely lapsed out of her memory. But the only thing that does clue her in on what happened in bits and pieces is her nightmares, and she's suffering from nightmares left and right. So this film already kind of has comparisons to some levels of Nightmare on Elm Street, but more levels of Halloween. So when she moves in, the entire next day and night is when all the action happens. The girls are trying to set up a powwow, you know, a party for the college campus there, and since the house mother is gone, and Beth is trying to ease in the process of living there. But before everything happens, there is a mental institution on the other side of town where a patient brutally murders some of the employees, escapes, and jumps into a guy's car and heads straight to the sorority house. Another Halloween linkage there. And it turns out that Beth, she is suffering from not so much nightmares, but memories. It turns out the guy that jumped, escaped the mental asylum is actually her older brother who tried to murder her and did successfully murder her entire family and the house they lived in, which happens to be the sorority house. I know it's kind of a doozy, but how she would not remember living there, but that's just the plot, you know, that's what we have to work with. So it turns out that as he shows up there that night while they're setting up a party and watching the Slumber Party Massacre on the television and all that, all hell breaks loose, and the knives starts carving into boobs, flesh, and blood splatters and all that. And it's not before long where she makes a connection that it's her older brother that's been haunting her this whole time from her past, and now she's got to try to save herself, or she'll end up like her previous family members from the past, you know, dead. But anyhow, this movie has a lot going for it, in my opinion, because not only is it just a fun flick to sit through from beginning to end, you know, but it's got quite a good body count. It's not too gory, but I will say this. The scenes that Beth has where she's dreaming, she has a lot of these surrealistic nightmare sequences, and they're fucking badass. They're so creepy. Like, I can't really go into description about it, but her nightmare sequences are just pretty creepy, well thought out, and pretty badass. And I thought it added a bit of I added a bigger bonus to it, just being a simple slasher flick. You know, some of that surrealism in it and creepiness. And like I said, it's so much like Halloween. You know, everything from the brother-sister connection to the killer escaping an asylum and jumping in a car to drive there, to him return to the house where he lived in, which is the sorority house. So this movie is not something I could say it's a great slasher film, because I know some slasher film fans out there are not a fan of this film, because I won't lie, this movie is pretty much a tits and ass mid-80s slasher film that's pretty much came off the, you know, Hollywood, you know, assembly line. But it does it so well. It's such a damn good clone of Halloween. Now, I know my previous review of Final Exam, I said the same thing. But this really is a definite clone of Halloween. Like, or a ripoff, whatever you want to say it. But it does it so well. You got some you know, it's pretty much set up like Some Party Massacre is in a way. But so if you're a fan of Some Party Massacre franchise, definitely check this movie out, Sorority House Massacre. This film has 2 other sequels. Well, it has Sorority House Massacre Part 2, which is a completely different story. Again, it has a much more supernatural bent to it. And then there's Hard to Die, which is a loose sequel of this, but set in a high-rise building. Anyway, but this film, I've always been in love with it. It's got it all. It's got the tits and ass. It's got the mid-'80s fashion. It's got, you know, a bunch of girls being carved out of, and like I said, good body count. And most of all, though, it's got some badass dream sequences in it. And like I said, it's not. It may be kind of a pedestrian, if I say, or a typical slasher film from point A to Z. But it does it so well. The time goes by fast when watching this. It doesn't, at least for me, the time goes by fast. But if you're into college campus slasher films, more importantly, sorority slasher films, and if you're a fan of Halloween and you're a fan of Some Party Massacre franchise, definitely check this out. It does not disappoint. Like I said, it's not very gory, but it does have a good body count. It's got good scenes in it, and it's got everything going for it in my book. You know, I've always loved this film, so I would definitely recommend this to a slasher film fan who's never seen it. So check it out sometime. That's Sorority House Massacre. I think it may be on Netflix. Could be wrong. But if you come across it, check it out. It's definitely entertaining, and that's what we want in slasher films: entertainment. And this does not disappoint on that level. So check it out sometime. Peace.